People of the Republic, citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, if I was Prime Minister and Prime Ministers of 52 nations were coming and I was blowing money on blinging the nation with shiny masks of development, skylines that bask in a lava stench, walls to hide the poor, the same ethnic core, and extra lights to dim the shadow of the dark times before us, my love. If I was gold card credit spending on luxuries for the few, including the private K-Donna I built for 1,000 of my crew, divine echoes through the halls, the hearts of artists pinned to the walls, pimped up waterfall installed where maybe before cocoa trees grew, all to ensure the PM's crib looks shiny and new. Don't talk about me soft sheets and the exec jet I keep in lieu, that too. If I was borrowing on tomorrow knowing this reckless spending was ending, miscomputing millions, budget bending, moving zeros on the books, making heroes of the crooks, by just pretending we're not in hock down by the Chinese shop, and shaming housewives who still balance books when economies are recessing, who refuse to borrow just because money men are lending, if my tab was ever extending. If I was buttering town with asphalt, replanting hills with metal, plastic, and marble, constructing steel altars in unsuitable terrain, stadia, thousands of times the original cost. If I was creating concrete floodplains, adding dry, hot dust, air conditioning, and resource-wasting buildings, making all of us, in this day and age of Aquarius, a flea-sized country with the carbon print of a Tyrannosaurus. If that was my 2020 vision, implemented with economic hitman precision. If I was playing Midnight Robber's Pappy and my government's concept paper applied every buzzword about sustainability, not one country would leave this meeting without agreement on something and consensus that we take into Copenhagen. One Commonwealth, one voice, one us. From India to Nigeria to Canada, you could trust. Your dollars would make us inter pares, but prime us. Your millions would fund a global caucus. One thing achieved for all of this spruced up fuss. What would that be? If I was Prime Minister of TNT, the CHOGM resolution, one paragraph, one promise, one plea, would declare that we 53 recognize that per capita emissions are the only way to take responsibility fairly. Rich and poor, large and small, we 53 affirm the centrality of budgetary accountability, implementation of existing regulations on polluting industries, incentive-based renewable energy policies, and comprehensive change to current resource-wasting consumer realities. If I was Prime Minister, we 53 would see multilateral, regional action on food security because agriculture is third only to hurricanes and rising sea levels in terms of small island states' vulnerability. You know, my EMA would have big barracuda teeth. Frankly, between you and me, I'm all about additionally counting the privatization of gains and the socialization of losses as part of cost-benefit analyses, and letting the numbers in their actuality determine how development is managed. Me, I'm about damage limitation, acknowledging the health, environmental, and economic liabilities, and not just for the poor of this one nation. Like Copenhagen, CHOGM is about world-class leadership and not just skin-teeth political pimp daddy debt finance lip service. My headship would not be based on building a smelter and islands in the sea. It would not be based on allowing quarrying of up to 150 acres without a CEC. I would invest in cutting-edge science on harnessing wind and sea. And I'm going to be frank, because of that secretly conceived, PR spinning, draft national climate change policy, my 2020 vision will see that oil has peaked and gas, though cheap, will deplete before 2050, leaving future generations to suffer in a resource-dependent, resource-empty economy. There would be measurable, reportable, verifiable, and legally binding commitments on conserving our forestry. My people, there is only step-by-step progress when based on unrelenting advocacy. If I was Prime Minister, we would not waste this opportunity. This meeting would mean that something changes locally and internationally. We would be on the map, and not because of some statement I sign on behalf of everybody, like the Summit of the Americas that fails so expensively. You know, many times we've been here already, kicked to the dust by false promises, hubris, and men in suits that talk and talk and talk. This round, we would all be heading to Copenhagen with a vision for the world's people and the earth. On behalf of those in the Republic of TNT, it would happen here first. From CHOGM to Copenhagen to the world stage. If I was PM, you would get more than buzzwords on climate change.